You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, we surprisingly have a lot to talk about. The Chicago Bulls have re-signed Ayo Dosumnu, signed Onuralp Bitim officially, and Javon Freeman Liberty is going to the Raptors. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. And we're about to break down the surprisingly active Friday by the Chicago Bulls. Like, Pat, I don't know about you, man, but I did not expect the Bulls to be. They basically woke up and said, you know what? We're going to go ahead and finish our free agency today. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up, put a fork in it, we done. So we get Ayo Dosumnu, which was actually the second signing announced today, but we're going to lead off with it. Ayo Dosumnu re-signs with the Chicago Bulls on a 3-year, $21 million deal. Pat, how you feeling about the deal we're bringing back Ayo on?
I mean, listen, how many ways can you spell run it back? I'm not mad at the deal. Listen, Ayo Dosumnu, good player. The regression last year you can't ignore, right? But if I swear to God, if any of you are the person who is, well, we didn't wait long enough for Larry Markkinen. Wait, hold on, I gotta hold on. Let me get it.
We didn't wait long enough for Larry Markkinen. We didn't wait long enough on Wendell Carter. We didn't wait long enough. Why didn't we go out and save them now? They're all good on other teams. Why didn't we save Max Strus?
If that's you, shut up. You know what I mean? Because like you have nothing to say because AK is literally saying, I want to make sure that my guys are good. He's not signing these guys to high money deals. $7 million for Ayo Dosumnu is not breaking the bank. Is there a lot that absolutely needs to be improved on from Ayo? 110%. I've been the first one to tell you that Ayo Dosumnu. I told y'all coming into the season, I was concerned about a sophomore slump. During the season, we saw a sophomore slump. And remember, Ayo signed with a rival network. We bet on the network. It ain't that rival. Like CSGO. Ayo signed with CSGO. Yeah. What we saw, one episode?
Yeah, 2. He was on 2.
Ayo was like, I'm not showing up. This season is awful. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so like it's fine. I'm okay with it, but he's got a lot of work to do. But at least you're gonna have him on the team to do it. And I feel like Ayo at $7 million, if the defense can get back to where it was, $7 million is worth that for a 6'5" defender with that wingspan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the way that I look at it is this, and I actually spent some time. If we would have came on like right after the deal, I probably would have had a different opinion. But basically, this is a rookie scale deal.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. This is a rookie scale deal.
He's making like $2 million more than Julian Phillips at the end of the day.
Exactly. Like that's what this is. And I think that, people hear the number because they initially heard the qualifying offer was a little over $5 million. And they're like, oh, well, why the Bulls spending this much on him? At the end of the day, like, this is them basically, had he been how he played his first year when he looked like he was legitimately as good as any lottery pick in that draft. Let's say now you even it out. This is basically end of first round type money that he's getting. And they locked him in on that on 3 years. And keep in mind, it's not going to start off at $7 million. Probably going to start off at about 6.5, have his annual increases. This deal is fair. And I also think, and I talked about this over in Chicago Bulls Central when I broke down this deal, like this is also an extremely easily movable contract. What the Bulls have done this offseason is if a big deal comes, they have set themselves up nicely to be able to have contracts to match that. Yeah. Before last season, let's say a big deal would have popped up at the trade deadline, we would have had to move one of Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, or Nikola Vucevic. Those were our highest paid players. Now, with the way that the Bulls have filtered out these contracts now, they can match a contract of $14, $15, $21 million easily without really giving up huge pieces of their core just to match a $20 million contract. So I don't think this is a bad deal at all.
No, and I think that's what I want people to understand with it, right? Like, this is not none of these deals. What all of these deals this offseason tell me? If this season don't work, we're making serious changes. If this season doesn't have like those 3-year deals, Kobe White's third 3-year deal, Ayo Dosumnu's 3-year deal, Nikola Vucevic's deal, you have to understand that every one of those deals is an extremely valuable deal based on the player, unless Ayo takes another massive step in the wrong direction, right? Like if he takes another step in the wrong direction, that's a completely different conversation. But to me, when I look at how these deals are structured, every one of these deals is movable, and it comes at a time where DeMar DeRozan could be out of his contract. Well, will be out of his contract by then. Maybe you're looking to move on from Zach LaVine. If you want to completely reset everything, you have that option. If you want to reset some of it, you have that option. If you want to reset just a couple of pieces, right? Like the thing about this is, right, say the Chicago Bulls do well this season and Kobe White does improve, but maybe Kobe White is not the piece that's going to get you over the hump. Say they do better than the Bulls expect them to do. You're going to have to move good players to try and go get that piece that probably gets you over the hump, unless you're going to wait for Kobe White to take that superstar leap. And this is complete hypothetical long term, but these are how GMs have to think about this stuff, because right, I have to make these deals the most palpable for other teams. If let's say I want to go out and get a guy who's maybe a little bit older, but I have to include a young up and coming player to go get him. You have to have those guys on team friendly contracts. And I think with Ayo Dosumnu, I think with Kobe White, you have those things in place. That's not to say that improvement doesn't have to come. It absolutely does. But I think that AK has positioned himself really well should any of the improvement come.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is. Like ultimately, like, and I think people also forget is that the Bulls did not have practical cap space. They didn't have cap space where they could just go out and sign somebody into their cap space. They didn't have that. Yeah. So you maintain more value by holding on to your own free agents. And Ayo still being 23 years old. Like I said, I hate when Bulls fans want to double dip. We some double dippers, bro. Like
they want both sides to be true.
Exactly. It's like, hey, we want to complain when young players go away and show promise elsewhere, but God forbid somebody don't look like what we think we want to look at 18 months into their contract. We need to send them off. Stop double dipping, bro. Y'all be reneging. Y'all. I can't say that, but y'all know what I was about to say.
That was going to be crazy.
What I was about to say.
That was going to be crazy. Here's the thing. It's a real word. You can say it. Like it's a real word.
Y'all we're going to laugh, man. Y'all some renegers. That's what y'all do.
We're going to laugh about it, but you can say it. That is a real word. Reneging is a real word. I think at the end of the day, here's the main thing. This is the funny part about it. Did we just use our privilege a little bit on that?
We absolutely did. But you know what? It's a privilege. We can use it.
We use a little bit of privilege on that. Because you know, if 90% of the shows out here had said that, we'd have been like, it's a real word, but yeah, I mean, like, but no, I just thought we'd have been like the black dude in South Park at the end when he came out behind the camera. If y'all know that skit, y'all already know what it is, man. But I'm that is the part that does get me, that does irritate me a little bit, is we don't stand on. Here's what all I want people to do: stand on your opinions. You want to know what my opinion of whatever player is? It hasn't changed unless the player changes my mind. I still think Patrick Williams will not live up to what we thought he was going to be. Does that mean he can't play? Probably not, because I've seen how massive he is when he's on the court, moving people out of the way, going to the hole. So to me, like,
hey, that was a Dwight Howard quote.
Jeez. Here's the thing. I know you didn't see this today, but because of you, Dwight Howard is now on my TikTok thread. He was live today, basically talking to different pastors on my TikTok thread, bro.
Were they Catholic? Because then it's different.
Hey, all right. All right.
Oh man, that's funny, bro. But yeah, who was it? JDH. I see it is a rookie scale deal because, for example, Patrick Williams makes about $1.5 million more than Ayo Dosumnu. It just depends on where you were drafted at. But ultimately, and he couldn't sign for less than the qualifying offer.
It's rookie scale based on if you're a top 5 lottery pick. You gave Ayo Dosumnu what we thought Ayo Dosumnu probably should have gotten coming out of college.
Yeah.
You finally gave him the deal that we felt he should have gotten coming out of college.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's up to him to live up to it. Now, like I said over on Bull Central as well, like he's going to absolutely have to fight for a spot in this rotation now. It's not the same Bulls team as before. He's going to have to fight for it, and we'll see what he does.
I mean, yeah, I don't believe that. Here's the thing. I think Ayo's back to square one as far as all I'm looking for from you is defense. And the only way that you're getting minutes on this court is if your defense is good, because I know your offense is mediocre right now.
Yeah. And you know, him coming off the bench too can work for him. Get out in transition. That's where Ayo is the best at, both with his passing and he needs to finish the damn layups, Ayo. Like, that's what you need to do. Finish the damn layups.
Let me ask you this, right? There's a belief in Ayo, and I know we got to get to the next topic because we got to talk about Bitim. But there's a belief in Ayo clearly because they bring him back. There's a belief in his development. Do you continue to take away from him his spot where he was as a starting point guard for Javon Freeman Liberty if you believe that he's had an offseason and moved that's worth him getting paid?
I mean, he has to earn it. Everything. The point guard position is.
You
said Javon Freeman Liberty. He's Javon Carter. But it's another open battle. That's what it was last season. Like, at the end of the day, whoever plays the best in preseason, shows the most in training camp, is going to get it.
Like, I feel like we knew Ayo was the starting point guard.
No, bro. Like, you can't remember they started a different point guard every preseason game.
Yeah, but it was like we're throwing Alex Caruso in there. We're throwing it was guys that I knew were coming off of the bench in a different role.
I mean, I think that's a little bit revisionist history, bro. Because
it was technically
he
Ayo's
outplayed
job
all
to
of
win.
them. He played all of them. He outplayed all of them. I get you,
but I'm saying, like, yes, it was technically Ayo's job to win, but it was Ayo's job to win in a situation where we were like, well, I mean, by default, he's the only point guard kind of on the roster.
I mean, but that's the thing. He's not a true point guard, so he had to earn it. So, I mean, regardless, it's going to be open competition. Whoever's going to be the starting point guard got to bring it. Period.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I hope that Ayo. I know we signed Javon Freeman Liberty. I hope that Ayo wins this job.
Javon Carter.
Carter. You know who it is.
The first names really be jacking you up, bro. Like,
hey, the JFL. You know what it is? Well, yeah, it's the names.
It is the names because we don't all look alike. But with that being said, next time we're going to be talking about Onuralp Bitim and the Bulls officially signing him. But before we get into that, got to talk about one of our sponsors, and that is FanDuel. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting on everything from the money line to the over-under to who you think's going to hit the first home run. All in one app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you can get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. All right, Pat. We had another signing. Now, this was the one that me and you have both been waiting on. Like, it's been back and forth, right? You remember the initial, we got to double dip on videos too, by the way. Thank you, YouTube algorithm. We appreciate you. But with that said, like, it was about a month ago. It was announced that the Bulls offered a two-way contract to Onuralp Bitim. And then Daniel Greenberg came out shortly thereafter and said, hey, nothing's been signed officially yet. And now it came out. It's the exact thing that was rumored before. We signed Bitim to a 2-year contract. This is a guard/forward. He's going to play the 2/3, 40% three-point shooter. Three-point line is a little bit closer in European basketball, so we'll see how well he shoots that at the next level, which is why I do think he's on a two-way to kind of see how he adjusts a little bit to the NBA game. But I tell you what, I will not be surprised if by the end of the season we're saying Bitim has played at least 40 to 45 games for the Chicago Bulls. How you feeling, Pat?
I think more than that. I think that we'll be talking about, me and you'll be having a conversation by 45 games about how we're going to have to pay this guy a contract at $5 million. I like his game. I think that AK likes his game. Remember, I believe it was you that talked about when AK went over to Europe. Was that during the season or over to Turkey? I
think that was like the last. It was literally he was over there, and we said he was. Well, we asked if he was scouting at that time. People were like, "No, he just enjoys EuroLeague basketball." Guess who was playing that game?
Yeah, nobody I shouldn't say that.
No, come on.
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
That was going to be
that
crazy.
was a little rough there, bro.
Nobody's watching EuroLeague basketball over the NBA is what I should say. And I think it's one of those things where AK, I like that AK is still in the trenches. Y'all can hate that all you want, right? Like that's reminiscent to me of like, that's how I feel about my YouTube channel. Like, I don't care how big I get. I'm always going to come back to the Windy City Breeze, to Locked On Bulls, and sit here and chop it up with y'all on YouTube, because these are the shows that I love. These are the shows that were my base. I feel like AK is still like, hey, listen, Gar Forman tried to stop being out there scouting, and he was out there drafting Marcus Teague. By the way, I did not know that the only person to ever cross Marcus Teague in the NBA is Jeff Teague.
That's funny.
Hey, and dropped him. They was talking about Jeff Teague has a great podcast, by the way. Dropped them. It's hilarious when they own there. But at the end of the day, I think that Onuralp Bitim is going to be a really good player, role player, I should say, at least to start off, because I think there's two things that he does well. He plays the passing lanes really well to me, which creates offense, and he shoots the three ball. Those are the only two things I'm looking for him to come over here and do. I would love to see a lineup with him and Dalen Terry, because I think they will accentuate each other really well. And I think that he could come over here and be I saw somebody say Manu Ginobili. I think that's crazy.
You can't just compare somebody to a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's a long step there. But I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility to say that at a certain point, he could be such a valuable six man that we're talking about the ability to trade an Alex Caruso for more assets.
Oh, damn. I ain't taking it that far, but hey, I get what you're getting at with that. Like, I love Bitim's game, and I love how tough he is. I love the fact that he is not like a jump out the gym athlete at all, but guess what? If you sag off on him, he going yam it on you. And I like players like that can score at multiple levels, and that's what he can do. I'm not necessarily calling him a 3-level scorer, because that preaches more consistency, but he can take players off the dribble, especially slower players off the dribble. He can shoot the ball. Absolutely. I like the way that he passes as well in transition. And he's going to make the Windy City Bulls fun to watch this season. But I tell you what, do not be surprised if he's not playing very, very many Windy City Bulls games when it's all said and done, because what do we need? We need to stretch the floor. And I do think they're going to probably give Dalen Terry an opportunity to see if he can earn some minutes in training camp. But do not be surprised at all if Bitim does adapt to the NBA spacing and things like that early on. I would not be surprised if he's on that roster before the end of the season.
I think that here's the thing. I think there's a couple of players that could be on this roster for the long haul, because I think that there's a lot of belief in the position that they simply go out and play. Right? Bitim is a guy that can knock down the shots. To me, Adama Sinago, there's nothing special about his game, except he can grab rebounds and throw floaters over bigger players on the court.
He does have a little footwork as well. It's just
I think that in summer league it looks great. I think in college it'll look better than most. I think in the NBA, when you're going up against more, right? If he's going up against Chet Holmgren, if he's going up against I don't know, name Walker Kessler, somebody. I'm trying to think of younger guys who are in his kind of class. I think that he would have a tough time against their length and their size, and I don't think that that's going to stop just versus the rest of the NBA. But I do believe that there are certain things that he does that just bring out success in his style of game, that floater, the rebounding, right? I can find a job for you on the court that I know, right? The Bulls' job this season is to eliminate as many questions as you can. Unfortunately, I don't care what nobody says. I wish we'd kept him in the game as well. Andre Drummond is a question.
Yeah, for sure.
If I put Andre Drummond out in the first quarter, will he have 4 fouls by the second? That's a question.
I mean, but every player has their own questions. But I do think that,
but that's a question that puts the team on the back burner.
I mean, it does, but like I said, every player has that to a degree. His can be very bad, but sometimes it can be excellent. Like, you just got to take the good with the bad with
100%.
Drum. So, and I just hope that, when Drum is cooking, we see Billy Donovan allow him to stay out in the game a little bit more when he's cooking, because You've talked about it ad nauseum at this point. Like that Miami Heat game, you pulled Kobe and Drummond when they were both cooking.
Yeah, he should have been in there. And I know that there's this belief that, Billy Donovan's always going to be what he's going to be, and maybe he will. Like maybe he is a Tom Thibodeau. But I do believe that people grow and learn from their mistakes and learn their teams. I've never said that Billy Donovan hasn't been one to learn what his team's strengths are. But I do think that there's a team that hasn't been up to the standard of the team that it needed to be. Maybe that happens this season by adding the point guard in Javon Carter. Maybe that happens. And who does Onuralp Bitim benefit most in your mind? To me, he benefits Vooch so much.
Oh,
I think that spin and like there's nobody to kick it to except Pat Bev or Ayo Dosumnu. I think Bitim benefits that spot.
But I think it also benefits Zach because I think like now that Zach isn't the only 3-point threat, like it's gonna free up some stuff for Zach as well to actually maybe try to get to the lane a little bit more. So and Bitim is a good enough passer as well that I think he'll catch Zach, and so it frees up a little bit of that. And we got to see him, right? We got to see that it actually gets to that point. We don't even know if he's going to be playing on the team at the same time with DeMar DeRozan being out there. We just don't know. But like, I think theoretically, like Bitim has one of those games that if it comes to fruition at the NBA level, that I really think he can benefit everybody. Like you can fit him in so many different lineups. Yeah, that it really makes some things special out there potentially.
We'll see what happens with him. I'm excited for him coming over. I don't know if Billy's gonna play him. I mean, like that's the thing. At the end of the day, does Dalen have talent? Dalen has talent.
We always ask that thing, like if Billy's gonna play. Like really, he's been 2 for 2 with young players. He played Ayo and Pat Will started off. Marco clearly wasn't ready. He didn't play Dalen Terry, but like it's if you can be solid on both sides of the ball, there's a propensity there to say more likely than not Billy's going to play you. But it's just like if you make a mistake, he's absolutely going to be like, all right, listen, I tried it. I'll try it again in 2 weeks.
Do we have to shoot Billy bail on Marco finally because every other NBA team looked at him and was like, yeah, you go ahead, going back over there.
Like, I don't see that's the thing. I don't even know if anybody even tried to offer. I think Marco was like, bet it didn't work. I'm going back home. I want some mom's home cooking, mom's spaghetti.
Okay, yeah. His arms was heavy. Knees weak. Palms was sweaty.
Knees weak is definitely. Hey, listen, it all works out.
Vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. He was nervous, but on the surface, he looked calm and ready.
But he never looked calm and ready. That's the part that it fails, like because he just got dunked on repeatedly.
Listen, even in the NBA, there was one thing we knew Marco was going to be doing.
Hey, bro, I gotta mess with this dude every time he's on here. That man's only takes villain pictures. That is his villain picture. Like he just needs Joker makeup on and DJ Lovely. That's his villain picture, bro.
Hold on. You know what I love about this? It's the only thing you really can say because the hairline is on point. It's a good hoodie.
On point.
It's a good hoodie.
It's a solid hoodie.
You know what I mean?
It's a villain picture, bro. Like he literally is looking like, hey man. Hey, I just committed fraud before I took this picture. That's why he's smiling, bro. He just committed fraud before he took the picture.
Nah, bro, he absolutely looks like he's doing all the AI trends on TikTok. He is definitely doing the NPC joints. He probably makes $10,000.
That's hilarious, bro.
Ooh,
that's my dude, though. Shout out to DJ Lovelace, man. He's
piece of candy. Piece of candy.
All right, man. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, man. Make sure you guys checking this out as well as we're free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice and YouTube and the Odyssey app. But let's go ahead and get into this last topic for today, Pat. Javon Freeman-Liberty signed with the Toronto Raptors, bro. How you feeling, man?
I am fully prepared for him to drop us off every single time we play the Raptors.
A two-way contract, so he did sign only a two-way contract, so we'll see what that means. But, you know, the Raptors were rumored to be interested in Ayo Dosumnu. What if that rumored interest was really just a ploy to get Javon Freeman-Liberty? Like, they're playing 3D chess out here with the Bulls, bro.
I don't know about that. Like, I don't know about playing 3D chess. I don't know about playing 3D chess. Listen, as much as the Raptors' hangover from Kawhi is so great, that we really think that they're outsmarting everybody, and they haven't been better than the Bulls in like 5 years. Since Kawhi left, they haven't been better than the Bulls. I think here's the thing for me at the end of the day with JFL that probably hurts me the most. That those piece of garbage fans up there are going to get the cheer for. That's the only thing that upsets me about JFL going up there.
Oh yeah, Drake's gonna love him, bro. Like,
those are some of the worst fans in the NBA. We've watched them cheer when multiple people got hurt. Watched them threaten DeMar DeRozan's 10-year-old daughter. And the only thing that irritates me is that they literally will be rooting for this man because I do think that he's going to have success, and I don't think that he deserves to have that trash of a fan base cheering his name.
Toronto Raptors are a trash fan base, bro. Like it's so weird. Like you this is what they mean when they be like, we can't give all you people some money. And you guys know what I mean by you people. Like, because like they win one title and all of a sudden now, like it's what's happening here, bro? Like you live in Toronto, bro. Like, just shut up, man. Shut up.
Listen. Just in case you've never watched the YouTube version of Locked On Bulls, Haize is black. It's okay. Just in case you never. Hey, fam. You people threw me off. I was like, whoa, hold on. Oh, he's black. Hold on. I know what he's talking about. I know what he means. Hide the money, y'all. It's poor people around,
bro. Oh man, that's funny.
But no, I mean, my God, like I've never seen a more trash fan base in the NBA. I mean, like you can talk about rooting for poverty, you can talk about rooting for a team that's bad, but I've never seen Chicago Bulls fans cheer when somebody got hurt. In fact, I believe Kobe Bryant had an injury here, not a major one, but an injury, and we cheered when he stood up and was able to walk off the court under his own power. Many players have been hurt here, and we have give standing ovations here in Chicago if you're able to get up off the court, the field, the ice, whatever it is, and walk off under your own power. I wish Toronto nothing but the worst every time with every sports team, and may God have mercy on y'all souls, because the Maple Leafs will never win a Stanley Cup in a sport they invented.
I had no idea you had this much. You feel
I'm not gonna
Toronto
lie to you.
like I do about Cleveland, bro. Like, what's happening, man?
Bro, the Kevin Durant thing always irked my soul, but threatening a 10-year-old girl because your players sucked so bad that they didn't know how to deal with her screaming.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it literally was like, if anybody from Toronto ever come through to Chicago, just know it's beef on site. Like, we really got. Like I was really, and here's the thing, I knew the Bulls probably wasn't gonna make the playoffs and get up throughout all of that. I was really ready to throw hands over that, bro. I didn't even know if DeMar was gonna be here another season. But that's if there's lines you just don't cross in sports. I'm fine with being competitive. I'm fine with sitting here cheering for your teams. I'm fine. I'm even fine with the understanding that, like, hey, right? Like, you think I don't know Indiana Pacers fans took a sigh of relief when Derrick Rose blew out his knee? Like, they didn't cheer for it, but they were like, we can get through the playoffs now. Like, we're going to be able to beat this. Like, I know that happens. But to sit there and threaten a 10-year-old girl, to sit there, DeMar DeRozan doesn't even let his daughters on social media because he knows what's coming. Y'all are garbage fans, and I hope that y'all entire city never has success. But don't worry about it, because the way that y'all run all y'all teams, we know that that's going to happen.
I mean, that's
get
what
Vladdy
happens.
Jr. out of there.
That's what happens when you're both low-budget Frenchmen and low-budget Americans. Like, it's just like you hover too many lines. Of like, shout out to the universal healthcare over there, but that's about the only thing y'all got going. Well, no, there's some beautiful Toronto women out there as well.
Relax there, Haize. What minute we at right now? Hey, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. I'm saving this man from a death. Because his wife does support the content that he puts out.
You're stupid, bro. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls and making us your first listen every day. With that said, we'll be back next week covering everything and anything going on Chicago Bulls yet again. But for Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This has been Locked On Bulls, and guess what? We about here. Peace, y'all.
Peace. I hope Jerry Reinsdorf buys y'all team one day, Toronto.
What? What?